His Will, Your Life.
My name is Addi.
My name is Hannah.
And we're the hosts of His Will, Your Life.
His Will, Your Life is a Christian podcast presented by us talking about all things Christian.
Today, we will be discussing the history of Christmas. So I have prepared a very long presentation. If you guys were here for season 1, you all know Hannah had this magnificent speech for abortion, and I think it's getting comparable to that. So we'll see what everybody thinks, and I did find a lot. My resource was history.org, like always. You can just look up the history of Christmas. It's the same article that I used for this. But let's get into it. So, if you don't know what Christmas is in a modern sense, it's a holiday that celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ that's celebrated on December 25th every year. But what most people do not consider is there was a winter celebration emulating Christmas even before Jesus was born. In the ancient days, winter was a very dark season, so Europeans would dedicate a day called winter solstice to celebrate life and birth. The first traditional winter holiday was a Scandinavian holiday called Yule, which was celebrated from December 21st, which was winter solstice, through January. Yule was a holiday celebration in recognition of the sun. The men would bring home logs and start a fire, and a big feast would occur until the fire stopped, which could last for up to 12 days. The Norse believed each spark from the fire represented a pig or a cow that would be born in the next year. End of December was a perfect time for these celebrations because all meat was slaughtered at the end of the year, and usually wine and other drinks were ready for consumption at that time. In Germany, the winter holiday was a celebration for the pagan god Odin, who most people were afraid of. The belief was on this winter holiday, Odin would make nocturnal flights through the sky to determine who should live and perish next year. This meant most people stayed inside out of fear. Odin's nocturnal flights might be a part of what started part of the tradition of Santa Claus. Now, if you think the Norse went all out for Yule, you have not even heard of the Romans yet. The Romans had three holidays, people, count them, in the month of December. There was Saturnalia, which was the celebration of the Roman god Saturn, god of agriculture. It lasted for a month, and it was typically huge. Slaves were given temporary freedom for a month. They were treated as equals. There were feasts, and altogether it was just a time of celebration. The second Roman holiday was a holiday called Juvenalia, which was a feast honoring children. And the last was to some the most elite and sacred holiday during Roman times, which was a celebration of the birth of the god Mirth, god of the unconquerable sun. But at the end of the day, Christmas was not an actual holiday until Jesus Christ was born, which really is one of the pinnacles of human history. And that's the history of Christmas, That's really how we came to get Christmas as it is. In some ways, the way it's celebrated has changed drastically since that time. We do put up literal trees that we kill and put lights on them. That's a unique tradition, but Christmas is definitely a fun holiday, as a Christian, especially.
Definitely. I'm still trying to get past the sparks of the fire or all the cows that are going to be born.
I know.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, did one old man just sit in the corner and be like, oh, I'm gonna count all the sparks and mark it on a piece of board or something to see how many cows and pigs will be born next year?
Yeah, that would be a lot, considering that fire could stay lit for 12 days.
Yeah, and they would keep eating during that time. They wouldn't sleep. They wouldn't stop doing anything. They would just eat and sit around the fire and talk, and it was a really big thing.
Wow. I mean, it would be fun, but that's just...
It would be fun the first day. I think, even at normal Christmas time, we all get tired of it after 4 hours. And they just went on for days.
Yeah, that's... I mean, the Norse have all the good traditions, but that one... I think I'd just be tired of everything. Eating the fire. I wouldn't want to see another cow after eating for 12 days.
Yeah, I mean, they loved it. I think the times were also different, and that was kind of the best thing you could do back then. I mean, if you think about it, there weren't even books back then to read. There was nothing. It was either working or sitting around a fire and eating. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I would want to sit around a fire and eat versus working out in a field all day.
Yeah, especially considering they did that every other day. Those 12 days were probably the only times they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the other one part of Christmas that I didn't know about that disturbed me, to be honest, was the whole Ogden tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was like one country that had something with paganism with Christmas, but I didn't actually know until I did the research for this episode. And just the fact that certain parts of Santa Claus are based off of Ogden is just scary, to put it lightly.
For those of you who didn't know, in our last episode, we started our first contest of the Christmas season, the Thanksgiving Craze Contest. The prize is a $10 gift card, and we finally are ready to announce a winner. Our winner is Rachel. If you missed this contest, don't worry. We have another one starting today. It's called our Christmas Around the World Tradition Contest. We want to hear the best tradition of where you live or where you're from. So if you live in America and want to share something from your heritage, feel free. Share your stories with us, and the winner will get a shout out, and they get to announce what our first episode of 2022 is. Thank you for joining us today as we discuss the history of Christmas.
If you liked today's episode, why not subscribe or drop a like below?
We send our thoughts and prayers out to all of you. And we'll see you next time on
His will, your life.